Nothing came from Baltimore. Nothing came from Baltimore.
Welcome to another Something Came from Baltimore. I'm your host, Tom Gauker, and tonight on the phone I have the jazz pianist Christian Sands. Christian has been in the business for over 20 years, primarily working with Chris McBride, but being that in-demand musician. Be Water is Christian Sands' third solo release, and it is going to hit the streets in July 17th on the Mack Avenue Record label. Be Water is just that. It's just loose enough to fit in all types of music genres. We've done 20 questions with Sean Jones, Joey Alexander, and Roosevelt Collier on Something Came from Baltimore in the past. Today, I'm going to do 20 questions with Christian Sands, but this is the COVID-19 special edition. Before we start the interview, let's listen to Sonar off of the new album, Be Water. Welcome, Christian Sands, to Something Came from Baltimore.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to talk to you. I've interviewed like a 20 questions just to get to know people. I've interviewed Roosevelt Collier, Sean Jones, and Joey Alexander like this. But I thought for today, I'd like to do 20 questions with a COVID-19 edition with you.
I'll do my best.
These are not your typical questions. Babyface or Teddy Riley?
Oh, man, Babyface. That was a hard question.
Yeah. How many people have you deleted off your social media because they got on your nerves?
2.
What was the last thing that you binged watched?
Defending Jacob.
What was your last hate text or angry post that you forwarded?
Don't write them. And the last one I forwarded was something about what has been going on lately.
A lot is going on lately.
Yeah, exactly.
It's blowing up.
There's no specific one. I mean, yeah, I retweeted and I've tweeted about a lot of them.
What is your takeout of choice?
Italian.
How many days did you forget to take a shower?
How many days I forget to take a shower?
Yeah.
0.
Oh, good for you.
yeah. Got to stay on it.
I got screwed up a couple times. How many Karens did you get in contact with?
How many Karens did I get in contact with?
Yeah.
What, today?
Just in the last 2 months, the COVID in the COVID time period.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's more Karens now than ever.
Just say more than what I need in my life.
There's Stepford Karens coming out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
Jill Scott or Erykah Badu?
Oh, I can't choose.
And that's rough, isn't it?
That's hard.
Didn't you? Did you watch the video? I sat there and cried.
I missed it.
Yeah,
I was working. Yeah, so I missed it, but
it's still out there.
Yeah. Oh, good.
How many days did you forget the day it was?
Almost every day.
Once this is over, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Take a deep breath.
What artist on the Mack Avenue label would you like to get fired that they're not good enough to be on the label?
Oh, everybody's good enough to be on the label. Because everybody on that label is ridiculous.
Your birthday was May 22nd. What did you do on your birthday?
Relax. Binge watch Defending Jacob and Ozark.
You're a Gemini, right? Would I like your other personality?
Yeah.
Okay.
or no. I don't.
All Geminis say that.
Right. Yes or no. I'm not sure.
You were a protege of Dr. Billy Taylor. At the time, did you know he was a living legend? Or did you just feel like you were just getting, some practice with an older guy?
I didn't know who Dr. Taylor was at that moment, but my father knew and my grandmother knew. They used to listen to his shows on the radio. You know, my grandmother listened to him on the David Frost show. My father grew up listening to his educational shows. So they knew exactly who he was. And it's a 2-week-long program, and so we auditioned for it. You send like a videotape in, and we got accepted. And I attended the first week, and he asked me to stay on for the second week, and the rest is history from there.
In smooth jazz, the artists just ship their tracks to different band members. But in this album, Be Water, this is a storyteller album. You're telling stories on each song. How did you handle the band members? Did you have them all in the same room?
Yeah, for the most part. The horn section was in the same room. I always feel that we should be connected when we record. You know, it's the same thing as having a conversation in a room together.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Well, okay, so the vocals are from the one and only Bruce Lee, the martial artist and philosopher. The quote, be water, for me is about being at peace, but full of potential and full of drive, full of ambition. You're in the moment and you're reacting in the moment, but you're reacting in a confident way because you have everything under control.
Be Water
Sure.
has the now fired Sean Jones off the Mack Avenue label. You got him on the flugelhorn and the trumpet?
Sean is like one of my older brothers. I've known Sean for so many years, performed in his own band. We performed in bands with Christian McBride. We performed in other bands. We've also just known each other. He's also Gemini as well. Coming up with this album, I really wanted him to be a part of it because, I mean, he's just a badass trumpet player.
We're talking about Bruce Lee, and he's talking about if you don't go with the flow with water, you crash. And that's a song that it sounds so familiar to me, the theme at the beginning, and I don't know what that is or if that's taken from anything, it's completely original.
It's completely original.
Is awesome on this. The loose strings of the bass of Sushi.
Yeah. Nakamura.
Yeah, he is killing it all through this album.
Yeah, that's just Sushi. That's just how he plays. He's a funky funky bass player and a master at it. You know, I've been playing with him for longer than 10 years. You know, we've been making music together. He's on my other albums. We first met in New York, and you know he's one of my best friends. You know, so I love the way he plays, and he plays with his soul. He plays with his honesty, and this tact that not a lot of cats have.
No,
so he's very special.
You know, if he was alive during the Motown era or the funk era, things would have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he originally started on electric bass. Not a lot of people know that, but he actually played electric bass before he played upright bass. But you wouldn't be able to tell because his upright bass is so incredible. So you can only imagine what his electric bass sound like.
There's a beautiful cover of "Can't Find My Way Back Home."
Well, I picked that. I'm a fan of Blind Faith. I'm a fan of just good music. My younger brother introduced me to that song. Actually, we were just talking about things that we were listening to maybe last year. You know, we just were on the phone, just like, hey man, you know, I just got this new record, or I'm listening to such and such right now. You know, we compare things that we're listening to all the time. And he just happened to be listening to that album. And so I was like, well, let me check it out. And it came up because I got the chance to see Eric Clapton perform at Royal Albert Hall in London. And we were just talking about music and talking about Eric and talking about just good soul music. And Blind Faith came up. And I was like, all right, well, let me see what I can do with it, you know?
The song Drive feels to me like a radio ready, like windows down kind of jam.
I wrote the idea in a sound check that I had. I knew I wanted to have guitar because I'm a product of, we call it picking, you know, guitar picking. And so I wanted that sound. I'm a product of James Brown. So I wanted it to have its own personality, to have something new with it. And I know that that's something different. You know, I wanted it to be an impression of the picking. For me, one of the best impressionistic guitarists, I guess I can call him, is Marvin Sewell. You know, I mean, I love the way he plays. I love the way he approaches things. You know, it has this intention of being there, but it has its own essence and it has its own distinct color to it, and I love it. And so I want to use him. And then writing with Marcus, I mean, I love playing with him. I mean, we're really good friends. We talk every single day. And I wanted to write a song with him, you know. And so I came up with a melody and just tried to just go back and forth with him either through the phone or voicemails or emails, and we came up with where he would appear, you know, as the feature. And he decided to put down some bass clarinet at the end because he's just a master at the bass clarinet and the sound of it. And so it all unfolded like that.
surprise of the album is really Water 2, where you bring in a string quartet. And now this to me is like a big kiss to Oscar Peterson. I find this to be something that he would have, pulled off. It's really lush and expensive.
I contacted a friend of mine, Miho Hazama, who is a really great friend of mine. We went to school together, Manhattan School of Music. We did college together. And we'd always said that we were going to do something together, and that was a while ago. And so making this project, I heard a string quartet with specifically this song. And so, the first chance I got, I wanted to call Miho and ask her to join me on this quest of creating this album and specifically this song. And so she had contacted, she got the string quartet together, and they did an absolute fantastic job. It was the first time there was no rehearsal, so we just went into the studio, set the microphones up, got them all comfortable, ran over it maybe twice, and then we press record, and what you hear is what you get.
Wow, that's shocking.
And they did such an incredible job too.
Yeah.
And beautiful, absolutely beautiful people. And it was really special to hear my work with strings. I've written for strings before, but it's different when you get to finally record that sound for yourself,
We're talking to Christian Sands. The album is titled Be Water, and it'll be available to the world on July 17th. Thank you, Christian Sands, for chatting with me on Something Came from Baltimore.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Hi, it's Tom Gauker, and I am the host of Something Came from Baltimore. Something Came from Baltimore is a words and music podcast, and it has famous and future famous artists like Sean Jones, Rupert Holmes, Auntie Hammy, Joey DeFrancesco, Go-Go Penguin, Joey Alexander, Bucanti, Gerald Albright, Paula Cole, and Kat Edmondson. It's music that matters. It's music for your ears. Listen and subscribe to Something Came from Baltimore and be a part of that Be More music scene. Something came from Baltimore.